Oh, dear me.
I don't know about you, but I've got goosebumps.
Yeah. It's just it's so powerful, isn't it? Just those words, but I'm ready now. And you can only imagine what she's been struggling with.
Well, to come through, I suppose, the acceptance of it, to be given, like... Because people like Celine Dion, it's not just... It's a gift, isn't it? You're gifted something that's like every cell of her body. Like, people always call her really overdramatic. I don't. I call her a true diva. Not a diva in, like, demanding things, but just, like... And to have that kind of power over people and to have it taken away bit by bit must be just you can't even imagine, can you?
Yeah. And she talks about in the documentary, like, her love and passion for singing is all that she's ever wanted. It's all she's ever known. Being able to perform in front of all of her fans. Her identity. It is. It's identity is exactly the word. And like we say, to have that slowly eroded and to think it's going to be taken away from you is very, very difficult.
I think it's very sad watching that documentary because, like you said, here's someone that's got this gift and they've shared that gift with the world. It's how we have connected with them and know them. And I think it's very brave doing the documentary because she's sort of saying, I'm on my journey to accepting this, but I'm not okay. You know, she's still suffering. So I think by doing the programme, she's going to help lots of other people and hopefully herself and her family too as they navigate this new version of her. Because that really is what it is. You know, when disease, disability, sickness affects us, we go into another era of our life. And I think a lot of people watching this who've been affected by some kind of illness will probably relate to sometimes having to let go and accept a new life, but it can be incredibly painful.
And it can take a long time to go through that acceptance.
Yeah, I
remember my friend who was a Kaz, who also has had cancer, that came and surprised by her. She said, you know, she went into a doctor after a breast cancer treatment. She said, oh, I just feel this way and that way, all the aches and pains from the medication. He said, well, you know, this is your new life.
New normal.
And she said, I don't want a new life.
Yeah.
I want the life I had before. And she said it was such a hard moment that to actually, like, this is what I've got to say. And I suppose, you know, Celine obviously is so far away from any of our kind of reality, but all of us have points in our life where we have to go, that's now gone, don't we? And it's just, I think also for whatever reason.
Having stiff person syndrome, you could, you know, book a tour, sell out arenas and be OK, and then on the night it affects you. And it's that unpredictability and not knowing as well. It's not a fixed thing, actually. It's ever-changing.
Yeah.
But disease, getting older, I mean, getting older, you have to accept that there's things that you're not going to be able to do. It's you know...
But it's when your mind still wants to do it, isn't it? And you're still feeling like your 18-year-old self and suddenly, no, but this isn't playing ball. And it's a very difficult thing.
Like in a more like, you know, us, the way our lives... Mine would be, oh, I'm going to run and leap over that gate. No, you're not, because everything's going to give in, you know? And it is that... those small moments are a teeny bit of that, but it's like the whole of life as you get older and all the different things that you have to bear is a process of letting go of things, isn't it?
I think as well, it depends, you know, it's the same for everyone in any walk of life. I feel like, especially in her industry and, like, the entertainment industry, like, I think people take it as a pinch of salt, the show must go on, but it really is, people take that verbatim. Like, we live by that in what we do. And I think someone like Celine Dion, she will take that seriously. And if you think of the crowds and the amounts of fans she has around the world, for her to maybe have to possibly cancel a show, it's not a small thing. I think for someone like her, she won't take that lightly, and having to let down that amount of people.
You will have had times when you were performing that you'd have had to not do things. Was that really difficult? Have you had to... I mean, you don't perform on stage anymore, do you?
No.
Singing. Is that sometimes hard? That's that sort of, like...
Added pressure.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to pretend me and Celine are the same. But, yeah, 100%, there were shows where, like, one of us would be too sick to do it, or, like, when I was, like, mentally unwell, like, there were shows that I couldn't do. And you do feel this massive pressure of, like you've had drummed into you from such a young age, the show must go on, whatever state you're in, you get out and you do it and you perform and you put a smile on your face. And you're letting down the people that have come to watch you, the people that you've, like, rehearsed with every day, the rest of the band. Like, it's a real horrible feeling. It doesn't sit right. And I think even, you know, I've seen some of the women do it on the show here. Like, some mornings they're like, you can tell they feel so ill, but they'll come on And you can get through it. It's not like you're lying, but you can get through it. And I think it's this real, like...
And you're both married to footballers, so that's a real case of that, isn't it? You get to a certain age, you just can't do that thing anymore that you love.
Was any kind of a sports person at all?
Yeah,
It could be an injury. You know, you suddenly break your leg and that's it. Everything you've trained for, everything you've ever wanted. It could be over when you're 22, 23, 24. You know, you're a very young person for that to happen to.
Do you know what I hope, though, out of the documentary? She's got such a loyal international fan base. I hope that she will see all our reactions of however she can show up at the time. We're still there. We still want her. You know, if it's documenting this in other documentaries on social media, if she's not singing, we're not going anywhere. We're still here as fans.
She'll be welcome with yours.
And she obviously feels strong enough and ready to talk about it. So the response you'll get to this documentary, I'm sure, will be overwhelming.
And apply that to everybody, isn't it? Like whatever walk of life.
Very much so. It's quite a watch, everybody.